Hey, Luke. Yeah, I don't think you have to do anything custom. Just do regular install. Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Albert Villaruz. I actually work full time here at the library. My voice is shot. Okay, so I don't normally sound like this. Hopefully, it's not too annoying for this class. If not, I'll do sign language. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Previously, I've taught other courses here part-time. I recognize a few of you from PHP, taught advanced client-side scripting, and also CSS animations. So today, this is my first time teaching this course. I was asked by Ross Bigelow to teach this. There's another teacher that's teaching the same course right now. So I'll be kind of learning along with you. Not to say that I'm a master at this, I'm not. So I just have to keep one step ahead of you and I'll be okay, I think. So I think what we'll do is we're gonna try something. I've never tried this in any of my other classes before, but I've told this works. So let's try this. Oh wait, I want a new tab. Has anyone played Kahoot before? Okay. Whoa. Yeah, we don't care for the music. Hey, how come it's not showing here? Oh, gee. That is so weird. What happened there? Okay, so here's your code. So go to this website using your phone or your browser in front of you and type in this code to get in, 4646. The last time I tried this yesterday as an experiment, it crashed on me. So we'll see. We'll see if this can handle all of you right now. So we got Dan, we got Makita. So we're playing Kahoot, which I hear it's a lot of fun. Yeah, okay. It creates wars between people. Okay, this is good. This is good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So waiting for a few more people to log in. Yeah, just go to the address Kahoot, KAHOOT.IT. Let me check it. What's happening? So I get what you said, like fast, we need that. There, enter the number 4646656. Okay. Players are ready to go. There's still, okay, one more minute maybe. 12 players logged in, good. So I created 15 questions. This is kind of like an assessment of what you know about this course already. But it's very light questions, I think. Although I tried to increase the difficulty the more you level up. 13 players, good. I think is that good? You're good? No, not yet. Okay. Okay, well maybe some people don't want to play. I don't know. So okay, I'm gonna start to play in 10, 9, 15 players, good. Anyway, all right, let's go. Yes, we are ready. Oh, crap. So let's see. So Comp 2068 is a course that mainly uses one language throughout the stack. What's that language? So I've given you 20 seconds each question or until it finishes. Great. So yeah, this course is about JavaScript. I understand from talking to a couple of you already, you've never had a JavaScript course here at Georgian. So that makes my job a little bit more difficult, but hopefully next class, I'll dedicate an entire class to JavaScript. Again, last year I taught advanced client-side scripting, which is basically JavaScript on the browser side. So what I think what I'll do is I'll condense that course into one day for you. Just the essentials. Okay. Cool. Next. Who's Chas? Nice. Is that your real name, Chas? Okay. Okay. The mean stack is a popular acronym. What does the M stand for?
What? No, I didn't get the chance to answer.
Oh, that's okay. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. That's what I tell my 3-year-old daughter. Okay, cool. Next. Makita. Nice job, Makita. What does the E stand for? The answer to the last one was Mongo. All right, here's the next question. What does the E stand for? The correct answer is Express. Oh, I got some people in the air too. Nice. Who's Tucker? Nice. Unlike most other languages, JavaScript runs all right. Nice. The answer is asynchronously. Nice. Now, does Kahoot give you points the sooner you buzz in? Okay, that's why. Okay. What does the A stand for? The correct answer is Angular. Which Dan is this? Who's Dan? Nice. It's getting a little harder, hopefully. In 2009, Ryan Dahl created this new JavaScript-based server called what? The correct answer is Node. And to think of it, that he only created it in 2009, and the majority of websites today are using Node. Yeah. Nice. Who's Simon? Nice. Where does Node reside or live? Correct answer is on the server. Well, I see most of you got on both client and server. Now, this is a point of clarification. So Node lives on the server. JavaScript is used in Node, but there's also JavaScript in the browser. So the whole course, the whole mean stack is JavaScript all the way through. But Node itself is just on the server. Nice, Tim. I've given you more time for this one. So go to that website, api.github.com. Go to that website now. What kind of data is returned? Yeah, so go to that website, api.github.com. You're going to see something. What kind of data is that? Eight seconds. I should have given more time. I should have given like 40 seconds because everyone has to go to the browser. And... Sorry. Correct answer is JSON. Yeah. Nice. Who's Sergeant Med? Oh, of course, yes. Of course. What is the default port number when browsing the internet using HTTP? What's the default port number? Yep, most of you got it right. Port 80. FYI, port 443. Which one is that? HTTPS is 443. But HTTP is port 80. Nice, Makita. When you use a browser and type google.com, what kind of request is happening? Yes, the majority of you got it correct. It is the GET request. In what year did JavaScript significantly change? Ooh, across the spectrum on that one. So the correct answer is 2015. That's important for you, for those that have never had a JavaScript course yet, because the code samples you see on the internet and the code samples that I may be doing at first will start off the old way, for example, using var. But as of 2015, it's now suggested to use two new ones, either const or let. So again, I'll be talking about that later, but that's important. Here's another trivia question. Who knows the popular 3-letter or 3-character name of that significant year, or that refers to JavaScript for that year? It begins with letter E. Has anyone ever heard of ES6? Yes? No? Okay. Next question. Before 2015, oh, I just gave you the answer to this one. Before 2015, JavaScript had var to declare variables, But after 2015, you can choose. Now, this is one of two answers. So if you choose let or if you choose const, you're right. So I just gave you the answer. Okay. I think next time I'll just do 10 questions. All right, almost there. So before 2015, the way to concatenate strings in JavaScript was to use the plus operator. Now you can use what? All of you are thinking PHP or something. Oh, the answer is both the backtick and the template rules. Again, I'll go with you on that next class. Second last question. Oh, shoot, I just gave you the answer for that too. So everyone just choose ES6 and well, this will get it over with. Wonderful. Last question. Okay, this is the hardest question of all, probably. What committee is responsible for the future of JavaScript as a language? Nice. You got it. So, who won? Nikita came in first. Dan, and Simon. Awesome job. Great job. Okay. Let me. What was that? Run it back. No. I need my browser on the screen. Okay, we're gonna go over the syllabus real quick. So if you want to get that out. So syllabus is found under course information. By the way, under faculty information, you'll see my contact information. If you wish to visit me, no, you don't have to make an appointment. You can just visit me. I'm at the library pretty much every time from 8 to 4 every day, Monday to Friday. So I'm either in my office or I'm actually on the floor of the library at the research help desk helping people find articles for their essays, which is my main job, but I also do the website for them. So, okay. So faculty, course information, syllabus, let's take a look at that. I don't want to touch that. All right. There is no required textbooks for this class. You have an optional book here. I'm pretty sure if you just Google this book, you'll find a copy of it. My email, albert.fillers@georgiancollege.ca. Again, for this summer, just visit me in the office room K210L. So if you visit the library, I'm upstairs in that section. So this evaluation I got from Rich Freeman's syllabus in previous times he's taught it. I've made maybe a couple of tweaks to it, but most of it's mostly the same. So we're going to start off today pretty light, and then we're going to move on to Express, Node, Express, and eventually Mongo, and then Angular. As you'll notice, the big ticket items here are your assignment 1, which is worth 25%. However, do notice that there's 2 due dates. June 7, that's when your assignment 1A is due. June 14 is when 1B is due. Okay. Same thing for assignment 2. There's 2 due dates. We'll have a midterm exam, but notice there's no final exam. Instead, it's student presentations. and I'll give you the topics that you can choose from. Here is a more detailed of when we'll be studying and when things are due. Notice that I kind of top-loaded the first half of the semester with quizzes, whereas the second half of the semester, there's only one quiz. I did that on purpose. Hopefully, it'll be beneficial to you in the long run in terms of a learning ability and retention. I think that's it. So today's class, we're just going to talk a little bit about the mean stack, a little bit about Node, a little bit about the command line, just a little bit about everything without getting too much into depth. Any questions so far? Okay. As I was surfing in my I have Twitter, and I have a lot of feeds to a lot of code stuff. And there was one article I saw last year, I think, right here, dated July of 2017. This guy, he says his favorite interview question is this: how does the internet work? So my question to you is the same. However, before you answer, I want you to take a look at this. Oh, maybe not. I have my second monitor here. Okay, this one here. Okay, so before I press play, let me pause it. Has anyone ever used Telnet before? No, Dan, right? Dan, you have, Chaz? Think of this as almost like hacking. So this guy here is using a program called Telnet, and he's going to try to emulate what a browser does, or what a browser does under the hood, except instead of seeing a visual web page, he actually sees the literal bits and bytes that come through the wire. So, oops, I didn't want that one. I just wanted the first one. Here we go. So he goes Telnet to, oh, maybe it was that one, to this website at port 80, right? So let me pause it there. So normally, if you were to visit a browser or use a browser, you would visit this website, and by default, the browser uses port 80 if you're using HTTP. So notice here, it's connecting to this. What is this called? IP address. What's the relationship between this name right here and this? How does the internet know to visit this when you type this? What's the answer? DNS. Do you know that? Okay, so whenever you're typing characters like google.com, what you're actually doing at first is you're visiting another computer called a DNS, which is sort of like a phone book. It says, okay, you're looking at mrthinking.net. Oh yeah, his real number is 216.172.168. So now your browser really knows the true address. So now it's going to go and get google.com's index.html page, for example. So let's see what happens. I'll play. So this, pause it. Under the hood, when you visit any website, what's really happening is your browser is saying get. This represents the file as well as the path. So this is saying get whatever index.html is on the root. Use this protocol, HTTP 1.1. That's what your browser is doing under the hood as well, is it adds this line under the hood, and then it receives all of this. So that was it. So this is now the response of google.com or whatever website you visited. And this is what you are familiar with, right? HTML code. So that's what's happening under the hood. Now, you don't have Telnet, I don't think. However, you can do the same thing right now using Visual Studio Code, and I'll show you. Hopefully you've installed Visual Studio Code. Let's open that up. It's a really cool tool. So go to your extensions here, and the extension I want you to install is this one here. Oh, it's too small, isn't it? Oh. This extension called REST client, and you can do the exact same thing that you just saw in the YouTube video using Visual Studio Code. No, you're not going to be using this for the rest of the semester. This is just for today's class only. So if you don't want to install this extension, you don't have to. But I thought it'd be a useful learning tool.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it in the.
Oh no, it's not there. I'm usually using a Visual Studio Code.
Right, but I don't have to download it.
No, you don't have to. No, just watch. If you don't want to download it today, just watch. Okay. Go. So now that you've installed it and you've probably reloaded or refreshed, what I want you to do. Create a new file. So create a new file. Call it anything you want, but have the extension. Have the extension .http. The whole reason why I'm doing this is just to get firmly in your mind what's happening under the hood, because I don't think you will know what this course is doing unless you really know what's happening under the hood. Okay, so I've made a new file. I called it anything with an extension .http. I want you, just like the video, capital letters, type get, then put, some website, then space, and then that. Now you may have to put your cursor before the letter G and press enter a couple times, just so that you can see this pop up. So if you install the extension correctly, you should see this. You see this? Send request. Yes? Click it. Click. Whoa, what happened? On the right-hand side, what is that? That is the response. So you just emulated what a browser does under the hood, except you can visually see the bits and bytes that's happening through the wire. So your browser, when you visit any website, does something like this, right? It's saying get, usually the index.html page of whatever path you've given using HTTP. And then the response, the Google's actual computer responds back to you. And this is stuff you never see. This is called the header. Okay, so give some information here. Now, I believe all of you took the PHP class, Comp 1006, yes? Do you remember when you tried making PHP pages and there was this bug and you never knew how to fix it? It was something like headers are already sent. Do you remember that bug? Yeah, that's because the header has already been sent, so you can't do what you wanted to do in PHP. So you had a logical error in your code because the header always comes first before the actual code. Okay, so if you were to look at this code now, the HTML code, and compare it with actual Google.com's website. So here's Google.com. I right-click it. I choose View Page Source. There. So you compare all of this, starting from here all the way down. It's the exact same thing. It should be anyway. Because that's what you're requesting. You're requesting the web page through Visual Studio Code through this cool little tool. So back to my question. How does the internet work? Anyone want to verbalize what they just saw to try to solidify what they just learned? How does the internet work? Anyone? Let's pick on Makita because he got first place on the Kahoot. What do you think, Makita?
There. Everybody's like, knock, you're gonna get the code, and Google says like, hey, sure, there it is. It's them.
Yeah. Okay.
And the browser is like, okay, now the code, now make up the web page.
Good. Okay. Good. So, yeah. So that's just a really simple tool. And most other people, they kind of use this tool to see what's happening in the headers, because maybe it's something they need to change. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that really briefly, just to solidify in your mind how the internet works. The next thing I just wanted to touch upon real quick is the use of callback functions. All of you throughout your stay here at Georgian have used languages which are synchronous in nature. Right? PHP is synchronous in nature, et cetera, which means that when you write one line of code, you expect that one line of code to finish before the next line of code runs. That's not how it works in JavaScript. JavaScript is asynchronous. What could happen is that first line of code runs, but doesn't complete in time due to maybe a network call, network request, database, whatever. And then the next line of code runs first and appears on your output before the result of the first line comes through. That's what I think will hiccup you the most, because all of you have never seen that style of callbacks before, but you'll get used to it. I gave one article link today on Blackboard. I don't know if you had a chance to read it. I Googled something like Starbucks asynchronous, something like that. There it is. I came across this article last couple years ago, asynchronous program as seen at Starbucks. If you read this article, you will understand asynchronous. In a nutshell, it's like this. Let's say you're in a car, you're going through the drive-thru, okay? You order, oh, sorry, the person in front of you orders, you have to wait for their order to finish before you are served, right? Is it ever possible for you to get your order before the person in front of you? No, not through the drive-thru, right? Typically speaking. However, if you were to go to Tim Hortons, not through the car, not through the drive-thru, but actually enter the store, stand before the cashier, order your coffee, what happens next is that you stand aside so that the next person can order their latte, right? Is it possible for that latte person to get their order before you get your order? That's asynchronous. That's the gist of this article. If you read this article, and then when we come to JavaScript callbacks, you'll understand. Because I want you in your mind, when you see the callback code, don't freak out. Think, oh, that's what the code is going to do once the cashier finishes or once my food is prepared. The person's going to call out my name. So we'll get to that when we get to that. All right. So that's all I want to say for that. Has everyone, show of hands, who here has installed Node on their computer already? So we don't have to waste time. Here, so just as a test on your, if you open up your command shell, if you say node -v, you should all see at least something, version hopefully 9 and up. Yep, so just type in node and then space and then -v. Okay, so that means you still have yet to install Node. So if you have yet to install Node, you'd have to go to this website, node.js, and I recommend downloading this one, their latest one, whatever it is. Download that on your computer right now. So as you're downloading and installing it, I'll keep on talking. Yeah. No, I mean, it doesn't matter which one you get. I mean, if you get the 8.11 one, it won't matter for this course. No. Okay. By the way, FYI, when you do install Node, you get another npm. So if you say npm-v, you should also see Verify that's true. Okay, so the way you should set up your computer right now, we're going to set up all the lessons. So throughout each class, we're just going to add a folder to this folder. So if you're on a Windows computer, go to, it doesn't have to be this folder. Usually this is the location of your home folder, usually. Okay, so whatever folder you choose, I want you to create a new folder called Node. So you can do that either through command prompts like mkdir, Node, or you can just use Windows Explorer to create a folder. However, I know most of you, show of hands, who hates using command prompts, or like who hates command line stuff? Almost, okay, a lot of people. For this class, I'm going to try to get you off your safety net, and I want you to force yourself to use the command prompt. I know one student last year in his co-op, his employer asked him, do you know Linux commands? Like, do you know the command stuff? He goes, no. And I think that's unfortunate. So for you to be more employable, I'd like for you to at least try the commands prompt way of doing things. I know you could do stuff using the Windows Explorer GUI stuff kind of way, but try. Anyone here using a Mac? Because the commands will be different on a Mac. One? Okay. Do you know all the Mac? Yeah, okay, you're good. Okay, so I've already created a directory called Node. There it is. Within that Node folder, I want you to create a new directory called lesson 1. So mkdir lesson 1, for example, will allow you to create a folder called lesson 1. Once you created that, get into it. So just like you double click the folder, say CD, lesson 1, CD, someone shout out what a CD stand for here. Change directory, yeah. So it's like double clicking on the folder. Now, this is probably a good time for those who hate the command prompt stuff. I'm just going to spend 5-10 minutes on the basic commands. Cool? All right.
There's going to be a 10 to 20-minute break in crossing.
What time is it? I usually have breaks on the hour. So 12 o'clock, I'll give you like a 10, 15-minute break. 1 o'clock, I'll give you a 10-minute break.
I'm thinking I'm going to need that time to download.
Yeah. If you feel like you have to get up, feel free to get up or whatever. I don't care. Cool. So the first thing you should know is this command, dir. What does that do? It displays your directory. That's why it's called dir. Displays all your files. Cool. Next thing you might want to know is, let's say you have, you don't know how to use a command. So you know dir command, but you don't know all the options that come with it. What you could do is say dir /? That gives you the options, saying, oh, okay, that's how I do this. That's how I display hidden files. So it's sort of like a help page, a command. Also, another command you may want to do, besides mkdir, which makes directories, what's the command for deleting a directory or folder? Anyone? It's rmdir, so remove directory. So if you just created a directory called lesson 1, assuming there was nothing in it, you could say remove directory lesson 1, like that, and it would remove it. That's just like going into Windows Explorer, single tapping lesson 1 folder, hitting delete on your keyboard. Speaking of delete, del is another delete command for files. So if you want to delete, Word document, whatever, I can do that. Let's say I have a text file and I just want to display it. So here I have a text file called food.txt. I want to see what's inside that without opening my text editor. What's a quick and dirty way to see what's inside that using DOS? Anyone? ls, no, that's the Linux or Unix command that's similar to dir. But in DOS prompt, if you just say type text, you can easily see the text in there. In Linux and Mac, it would be cat, which is kind of weird. Another basic command is the move command. So say I wanted to move the lesson one folder elsewhere, like up a directory. What I could do is I could say move lesson one up a level, kind of like that. So these are just the basic commands. Another thing I want you to know is the ability to use your arrow keys. So if I click on arrow key up, notice how it's recycling all the commands that I previously had. It's a quick and dirty way to get to your commands without having to retype it all over again. And also, based on a YouTube video that I saw on Rich Freeman, a student accidentally left a space, for example, between a make directory lesson. Or I don't know what she did, but don't leave spaces between your stuff. So that'll affect it. So that's my quick 5-10 minute tutorial on shell commands that you should know. That later. And the next thing here. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're actually going to get our hands dirty with our basic hello world using Node. So if you open up your editor of choice, and let me create one here. Inside your lesson one folder, I want you to create a new file. Call it hello world.js. Let me, by the way, if you need me to magnify my screen, please tell me because I always forget to magnify my screen. Is that good? Is that a good size? Yeah. Okay. So let's do a basic hello world right now. So to output hello world, in JavaScript land, you say console.log hello world. Save it. Actually, I should have used. I want to. Let me redo this in another location. Forgive me. Open folder. Node. Yeah. Give me that. Okay, let me make another one here. So, world. Right, so you set console.log world. Okay. So to run it, open up your command prompt, navigate to your folder of where you had that. And just simply type node hello world. There it is. Hopefully everyone got that. Did everyone get that? It's not a big, it's not, it seems like it's not a big deal, but hopefully everyone got that. Show of hands who got that. Show of hands who didn't get that. Okay, no problem. So just realize something. The first thing is this. Whatever JavaScript code you type here, and then when you run it using Node, what's really happening is you are running JavaScript code in the server. Because I remember a question in one of the YouTube videos was a student asking, okay, how come I don't see that console log message appearing in my browser, even though I said console log? answer because you are running this JavaScript code in the server, not on the client, not in the browser. Okay. Keep that in mind. There's a separation of client and server there. Cool. Next thing is let's output this. Let's create another hello world, but this time we're going to output it to the browser. Hello world in the browser. Okay. So let's close that file. Let's open up, create a new file, call it, I don't know, call it server.js. Server.js right there. Okay. So here's where your deep dive into Node truly begins. There's going to be some code here that might scare you. So I'm using old style var for now. Write down var http. Let me magnify that even more so you can see. Equals require. Let me make a comment of what's happening. So when you say that statement, what you're really doing is you are using a library that Node already comes installed with HTTP. This library, HTTP, is what allows you to create web pages. This is what allows you to serve web pages, rather. Okay, so just like that other tool we played around with when you're getting index.html from Google's computers, what you are actually typing here, you are at such a low level that you are actually in control of creating your own web server. And I'll show you more on that. The next one, we're going to start a local web server on our own computers. On port, we won't use port 80, we'll just use port 3000. And we will listen for events. Okay, so that is what you're doing. Here's how to do it. Now use what you just declared. So notice back here, we said HTTP. Oh, by the way, you may have noticed that my var changed to let automatically. That's because I configure Visual Studio Code to automatically change all the old stuff JavaScript to the new stuff JavaScript. I'll show you that later too. Okay, so HTTP dot create server. Make sure you have a capital S for server. Then here's where callbacks come in. And this, at first glance, this might throw you off a bit. I know I did at first when I first saw that. I didn't understand the whole. So remember when I gave the Tim Hortons example, okay? So let's pretend that this create server is actually, you know, the Tim Hortons staff creating the food for you. And then what happens is after they're finished creating the food, they are going to run whatever is in this block of code. So they could have said, you know, console log call Albert, or just, you know, log double, you know, whatever. So think of this block of code, think of that callback as what to do once this is done. Okay, that's the most essential big point of the day I want to get across today, because this will mess you up if you don't understand this. JavaScript is all about callbacks. Okay. So HTTP.create server. Inside here, we're going to write this: response dot write head 100. Question: what do you think 200 refers to? Yeah. Yep. Everything's okay. Yeah. That's the status code. For example, let me show you. Let's go to, okay, I'm already here in this web page, right? Let me show you what's happening under the hood. Let me show you this 200. Right-click any web page, click Inspect, go to this tab called Network, refresh the page, and watch what happens right here. Refresh, boom. You have all of these resources. You have SVG icons loaded, PNG, JS files loaded. But look at the status code, 200, 200, 200. So everything with 200, this browser got over the wire. Right? That's how the internet works. You ask Google's computer, or in this case, Node's computer, for all of these ping files, SVG files, JS files, and it gives you that. And it gives you the number 200 to say, yeah, you got it. Everything's okay. Right? What's the status code if everything's not okay? If page not found? Yeah, 404. So realize that what you're doing now, you have control to type in whatever you want. That's how low level this is. That's the power you have. Okay, what's next? Next, type this, response.end, first node page. And what are we doing here? We are sending plain text over the wire. So just like before, where, I wonder if I can get that back, hold on. Just like before, right. So just like before, when we went to google.com, it first sent us a header saying 200, okay, gave us this header information, and then it gave us the body. So what we just typed when we said response.end, you are sending the body. So right now we're just sending plain text. In the future, we'll send HTML. Okay, and then the last thing, or second last thing I want you to do is after that bracket here, say .listen. I'm going to listen to on port 3000. Then the final thing is print the server has started. Log server running on port. That's it. That's all the code I want you to type. That's all I want you to use. So to test this, to see if it's running properly, go to your command prompt. Make sure it's, yeah. Type in code space and then the name of your file. It could be server alone. It could be server.js, doesn't matter. Run it. Oh, question. Last line, yeah, of my code, yes. Last line of my code is simply a console.log and some kind of string indicating what port. Okay, now let me magnify my command prompt just a little bit so you can see better. Maybe my font, I don't know, 36. Is that good? So notice what just happened. You see this sentence here, server running on port 3000. Obviously, that's coming from this line. But how about all this code? How do we see the result of what's happening here? What do you think? Yeah. Yeah. So go to your browser, type in localhost port 3000. How do you specify port 3000? You say colon and then the port number. Ta-da! You should see this. Our first node page. Show of hands who got that. I just want to see. Show of hands who didn't get that. Oh no? Okay. So during the break, I'll come around. For those that didn't get it, just realize the big picture. The big picture is you just created a web server on your computer that you just served out using JavaScript, right? Before Node was invented, before 2009, web developers had to depend on Apache and others. And it's we are grateful for Ryan Dahl to create Node when he did, okay? Because Apache can be kind of a pain to configure. As a reinforcement to what you just did, what we just did, I'm gonna try something on my own, just on my computer. I'm not sure if this is gonna work or not. It should. Let me just test something out real quick, and then we'll go on a break. Okay, so I'm gonna try this again. Node server, it's running on port 3000, right? Cool. By the way, Visual Studio Code is kind of neat because it has its own inline inside it as well. Oh, come on. I was hoping. Let's try it one other way, and then I'll give up. We'll experiment on the fly here. There. Can I say LT? LT's not. Oh, right. All right. So, yes. Okay. Try this, everyone. Go to this webpage right now. Called HTTPS heavy-elephant dash elephant dash 93.localtunnel.me. See if that works for you. Do you see my webpage? Which should say our first node page. You see it? Yes. So let me just solidify what just happened. So you have now the power to create a web server, just like Apache, but I think better, and serve it out over the internet. But you have such a low level control that you have access to like what status codes to use, even. Okay. So that is the big picture. Before we can take our 15 minute break now, and then we'll continue on. Are there any questions or comments? Feel free to come up anytime during the break, ask questions. I'll come around as well and introduce myself to you because I don't know most of you anyway. I'd like to know your names. Yeah, so take 10, 50. You know what? I'll put a timer on my browser here so that we'll know for sure. Here's my timer. Let's give you 15 minutes. 15 minutes sound good? Yeah? Okay, cool. No, but you're missing a colon between the T and the B, and there should be no spaces. Yeah. Oh, there it is. First time I did it. What's your name? So you're trying to change everything that you change? Oh, you want to have one? You want that one? Okay, then there's no difference because this is always. Any other questions? No, I don't know. Okay. What's your name?
Sean.
What's your name?
Alex.
Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm having trouble trying to download Node.js. I'm guessing I'm supposed to use this one because it's recommended for most users.
Yeah.
So I just
Click on it.
I mean, this is the first time I've heard of Node.js.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's relatively recent in terms
Just take a while with the security scan. I'll let you know when the security scan's done.
Yeah, okay. You let me know when it's done.
Okay, I'm in setup wizard.
What are you doing?
You get 2 seconds by seeing the server JS code.
Yeah.
I just shared it.
So let me do this. Let me do this, minimize it. And then
The request and response, are they predefined variables or?
Yeah. They're predefined objects
Okay.
that Node already has a handle on. Because if you didn't have, let's say, a response, how would you say hello world? Well, you may have to make your own library. That's too much.
Okay, so I'm in the custom setup.
So
I'm just not sure what to do regarding custom setup.
just do a regular. I just go through the motions, like say next. I don't do anything special. Yeah. Good.
Okay, so gotta wait.
Maybe the next time we do it, and then try to do this all like this. Very simple.
Yes.
No, hold on. So did you install Node.js?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure. So once it's installed, I just wanted you to do your command. This one. Type in node space/v. Yay! You're good. You're good to do this stuff. In this class.
So what do we do with this window then?
I've never used it. You get Oh, you mean that last trick about the local title? You can do it. I'll show you that maybe later. How hard to do that. Because it's a really tool, right? Because the developer, you're developing something, use local title to say, hey, client, share what I'm doing. Like, I'm sure you could. So, I mean, if you want to use the computer, you can just make sure that What was that? What were you saying before?
And then I read through it and I actually found it's not right. It doesn't even tell you though. It's like, hey, okay, you want to call it that, call it that. The server will work.
Yeah.
Let's call it that.
Yeah. Google there's an icon. Here, when it comes up. Oh, it's right here. This one, this icon here. Yeah, so when you click on that icon, it looks like this, right? And then you can search for all the different ones and install it. And I'm going to actually recommend you install a couple of ones today. Okay? How's it going over there? No? Stuck? Email me. It's okay. Email me tonight, though.
Yeah, correct.
I'm a part-time faculty. I only teach one course per semester. My full-time job is working in the library, helping students like yourselves and finding books and articles for your essays. But I happen to do the website for the library also. Okay. 25 seconds, that's okay. To solidify your understanding of what just happened, I'm just gonna park here for a second. I'm gonna get you to tinker around and hack your way through better understanding of what just happened. Okay? The first question I have for you is this. When you type this, node server, first thing you'll notice is the command prompt itself locked. Why is the command prompt locked? Because it's running the server, so you can't do anything right now in the shell. Right? Okay, cool. Remember back in the day when you were a kid and you probably got a new toy or a toaster and you want to find out how it worked, so you broke it apart to see? Are you that kid? Okay, this is your chance to break apart what you just did to get a better understanding of what just happened. Here's my question to you. Okay, so this is your chance to hack your code. My question is, what happens if you, okay, before I even say that, let me just do this. So I'm running my thing, right? Let's go to localhost 3000. If I right click, inspect, click on the network tab, refresh to see what happened. Okay, 200. Okay, great. Here's my question for you and your chance to hack. What happens if you, in your code, change 200? All right. It'll work. Try it. I'll give you a couple minutes, 2 minutes to try. Because that's the first question in my mind. When I saw that first line of code, I thought, oh, I wonder if I can break that. I wonder if I can hack that. I wonder if I can break the internet. That's the first question I had. So try it. Try putting a 404 there. Does the web page, does it still work? Answer, it still works, right? So let me put a 404 here. Okay, save. Oh, okay, step aside. I forgot to mention. So I changed my code just now, but notice that my original code is still running. This is not detecting my change because, and I'll show you. Go back here and refresh. It's still, nothing happened because, and this is why I asked the first question, this will always run the original stuff. It will not detect your changes whatsoever. Okay, so when I asked you why is the command prompt locked? Because it's running your original code. How do you break that? answer, Control C. If it doesn't do it the first time, like it just didn't do it for me, Control C. There you go. I will stop the server. Now that it's stopped, I can run it again. Here we go, node server. Okay, now this should have my changes. Go back to here, refresh. Whoa, 404. But did my web page load? Yeah, our first node page is still appearing. Huh. What's going through your mind now? I'm thinking, whoa, I could send a 404 page not found status code, yet the page still works. That's how low level power you have in Node. That's the kind of control you have. Right? Normally this would never, ever, ever happen. Right? Okay. Let's try a different thing. The next question to you is this. Let's put that back to 200. What happens if you change this port number from 3000 to a different port number, like 4000, and then refresh the browser? How do you see that change? So go ahead and try that. A couple of minutes for that. Okay. Try typing the code that you see in the screen. Try typing that code in some kind of editor. You have Visual Studio Code on it?
Visual Studio.
No, use like you have Atom or you have Sublime or you have. Okay, use that. Although I prefer Visual Studio Code because I'm going to give you some tips throughout the course on that. Yeah, so maybe sometime tonight, Brad, download Visual Studio Code. Cool.
And if there's any problem with you in the library, I have a class tomorrow and I can come in out.
That's right. I'm always at the library if I'm not teaching, either upstairs in my office or on the floor in the research help desk. Okay, so you may have done something like this. Okay, let's change it to 4000 or whatever number I want. 9999, whatever. Okay, I'll just leave it at 4000 for now. I save it, but just because I saved it doesn't do anything here. I have to break this. So Control C, Control C. Try it again. Node server, or I'll just press the up arrow. Okay, now hold on. Oh, right, that's just the message. I forgot to change the message here. But in reality, it should not be port 3000. So if I refresh this, it should give me an error. There, error, because 3000 is no longer, but if I go to 4000, there, it's working. Cool, everyone get that? So some of you might be thinking, what the heck is a port number? I didn't even know these things existed in the first place. Let's try this. I haven't actually tried this, but this should work by this. Actually, let me try my DreamHost one. Here's my DreamHost one. Okay, yeah, that's where I serve myself. So in any web address, if you, at the very last character, if you say colon and then a port number, like 80 is usually the port number, as we said before. So I'm not even sure why this is not working. But usually that's the, oh wait, hold on, I know why. There, it's here. Port 80 should go after the domain name. I think that should work. It does. So what's happening under the hood, whenever you type any web address, what's really happening is, this is happening. The browser inserts port 80 for you because that's the default port number. However, you could change that to anything you want, but don't change it anything under 1000 because things under 1000 are usually used by other services that a computer uses. Cool. Now, last question I had on this piece of code is this Control C stuff a pain to you as a developer? Yes. There is a tool where we will never have to do that again. So if we make a change in our code, we will never have to control C ever again. It just knows our code. It knows our code has been changed and it will refresh automatically. And we'll get to that. Any questions or comments so far? Okay. Let us move on to the next topic. So the next topic is back when I was talking about callbacks and how JavaScript is asynchronous. We're going to dive into what that really looks like under the hood too, okay? So I'll call this section, this topic, blocking versus non-blocking, or synchronous versus asynchronous. Okay, in your code editor, let's create, actually within your same folder, that's fine. Create a new file called food.txt. So you're creating a text file. And I want you to type in some names. So someone shout out foods that they ate today. Pizza, keep on going.
Apple, sandwiches.
I want 8 to 10. Just enter whatever you want on your computer. Yeah, it was potatoes. What else did you say? Cereal. Anything else? Butter chicken. There we go. Yeah, cow. Part of a lamb. Yes, lamb. Very good. Okay, that's good. That's good enough. All right. So as long as you have some kind of list on your computer, that's great. Next thing I want you to do: create a new file called drinks.txt. So you're creating another text file. Go ahead and shout out some things you drank today. Go. Sorry, you said? Anything else? Oh, I misspelled milk here. Okay, that's good enough, I guess. Great. Now, create another file, and this time call it blocking.js. So this will be our example of synchronous code, blocking code, and why you never want to do this in JavaScript. So this is an example of what not to do. But what we're about to type is the kind of code you've written all your life here at Georgian, just synchronous. So what we're about to type will make sense to you, but the next code may not. Okay, here we go. So we're going to say var fs. We'll just create a variable called fs. We're going to require a library called fs. So I don't know for other courses you've had, in any of your other Georgian courses, have you ever played with creating text files and editing text files using a low-level language? Okay, that's all we're doing here. Okay, so Node has fs. So that is that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is open and read the food list. Food list. We're going to say var food equals, and we're going to read. So inside this variable food will be the list of the contents inside the. Here's the method. It's called the read file sync. Pay attention to the camel case capital letters where they should be. We're going to open up the food.txt, and your second parameter, we're going to just say footing is UTF-8. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to print a food heading and a list of food. So we're going to say console log. And so this will be our heading that will show on the command prompt. There we go. FS is a library that Node knows about, just like HTTP was a library that we got from the last code. Yeah. Okay. So now that we did that, let's open up. Let's do the same thing for the drinks. So open, read drinks list. our drinks equals fs read file sync. I'll sync and not something else. Then we're going to print that out just like the other one. Okay, so your final code should look like this. Oh yeah, so that's an example of how I configured my code editor to change my vars into consts, I believe is what happened. I will show you how to do that at the end of class or on a YouTube video. Okay, but it's okay. If you have var there, that's fine. So let's run this. Go to your command prompt, type in node. What's the name of it? For now, well, maybe you want to. We'll see what happens for now. Node blocking, and you see outputted a list that looks like this. Question, is that what you expected? Yes, the answer from all of you is yes. There's no big deal there. I understand completely the order of events that happened. There's nothing strange that looks strange. Okay. All right, cool. Here's where it differs. Here's where you enter the twilight zone. So create a new file, call it non-blocking.js. So the first line will be the same. Now here is where it differs. So var food is now equal to fs dot, and it's no longer read file sync. It's now just read file. Because the method read file is an asynchronous method, whereas the read file sync is a synchronous method. So make sure you're using the proper method. Parameters are slightly different. Now here is where the big change happens. Oh, whoa, yeah, okay, hold on. I mean, that's before I save it, there you go. So my question to you is, as soon as you see this, a function as a parameter, what are you thinking? What should you think? It is what kind of function is that? What is that? Yes, callback. What is the purpose of a callback? It is to whatever is inside that code will run only after this completes, right? Just like the Tim Hortons staff prepared the food, after it's done, they will say, hey, Albert, or hey, double, or whatever. That's the line of thinking I want you to think. When you see this weird thing here, when you're passing a function as a callback, that means it's a list of to-do items that's going to happen once this read file finishes. That's all it is. Okay, because the JavaScript is event-based. Okay, cool. Next line of code. Now notice the first parameter is an error. So if something goes wrong, we should check for that. So if error, console log error, else we'll console log food. And that's it, save. I think I messed up somewhere. Oh, you know what? Sorry. My bad. Right here, you don't need that anymore. It's just fs.read file. So let's do, and then here we'll just say console log. This is our heading. We're gonna do the exact same thing for the drinks. So my recommendation is just copy and paste what you just typed and just change the necessary parameters. So instead of food.txt, drinks.txt. For the parameter, instead of food, it's now drinks. And for the console log, instead of food, it's now drinks. And for the last line, instead of food, it's now capital drinks. Before we run this code, ask yourself, what do you think will happen? What do you think the output will look like? Guesses, anyone? Which will run? What's the first thing you might see? Any guess? Food. Just the title food right here. So you think this will run first? Okay, any others? Any other guesses? Okay, let's go with that. What do you think will happen after, underneath that title food? What will appear next? Drinks, this line right here. Okay. And then let's go with that. What will appear after drinks heading? Will it be the list of food or will it be the list of drinks? Okay. Are you ready to run this? Go ahead and run it. Let's see what happens. So node non-blocking. Let me clear my screen for a second. CLS, there we go. Node non-blocking. So we got food, in this case, we got food heading first, drinks heading second. I got the list of food items next, followed by the list of drinks next. Did anyone get anything different? Yes, what did you have? You got drinks first, the headings, drinks first. The actual list, you got the actual list first. That's amazing. Okay, what was next? And went to the food. Okay, and what did you get, Chaz? Same thing. Yeah, I challenge you. Run this, press the up arrow, run it again until you see something different. You're bound to see something different. You see something different? Because I just got something different right now. So the big idea, the big picture is when it comes to asynchronous style of coding, which JavaScript is, you have no idea what the order is. Did it 10 times? If you keep on doing it, I promise you it'll be different eventually, okay? Because JavaScript is event-based, meaning it gets its trigger, if you will, from outside your code. So that could be anything, that could be, you know, literally anything. So just keep that in mind when you see callbacks. Keep that in mind when you hear the word asynchronous, that's what's happening under the hood. Cool? Okay, any questions or comments so far? Okay, moving on. What was the time? 12:40. I think we're making good time. Okay, the next thing I had to say was a pre-intro to the lab, but before I get there, no, I'll do the lab now. And then okay. Okay, so this is a new topic before I get into your lab. So let's say GitHub, I want to see the source code for GitHub, for Node. So it's on GitHub. Ta-da. You've seen this kind of page 1,000 times. Have you ever noticed how pretty their readme.md file is? Okay. My question to you is, how did they make this happen? My lab for you is to make this happen for your lab, okay? The original lab that Rich Freeman did for this first class was a very, very basic GitHub text file, do a few edits, commits, that was it. I'm gonna up the ante with you because you're all computer programming students, and I'm gonna challenge you. So what's happening under the hood is this. So if you are ever in a job that requires you to create your own README file in GitHub and make it look pretty like you just saw, you have to know something called the Markdown. Show of hands who knows what Markdown is or ever used it. So instead of having an H1, well, that's so tiny. What's happening under the hood is whenever you're creating a README file in GitHub, for example, you don't actually use any HTML tags under the hood. What you're actually using is called Markdown language. So you're using things like the pound or the hash symbol to make an H1. So by saying hash, this is an H1 to heading, that will automatically turn it into the proper H1 heading. For example, let's look at, can I actually view? I'll have to sign in. Give me a second. Work. So let me show you what I did here. So this is your lab, but don't focus on the lab. Focus on the formatting. So notice how this is a nice H1 as it were. Notice how there's nice code samples here in the boxes, how there's images here. How did I do that? I promise you, I did not use a single line of HTML tags in there. The answer is this. So all this markdown stuff in this page, where you use, hashtags and asterisks and different things like this. This is what I actually typed in. If I click on raw, oh, let me compare to all right. So if you type hashtag followed by a string of text, you get an H1 in essence. You type 2 hashtags, in essence, you get an H2. So GitHub automatically translates your hashtags into the proper H1 or H2, depending on your hashtags. If you say 1, 1, 1, it will automatically say 1, 2, 3. If you say, take a look at this. So this is an image, a screenshot. It's a .png file. How did I do that? It's right over. This is the one line that makes it happen. So you put the path of the image here, you put down your alternative text, and it magically transforms into that. Okay. And how did I do this code sample right here? You do it through this triple backticks. So the backtick is your upper left key on your keyboard. Triple backtick it, followed by the name of the language you want. So it could be PHP, it could be whatever. But you're using JavaScript, so I say JS. So that it'll automatically highlight and colorize the necessary things for that language. That's how Node does it. That's how all the professionals do it. So your challenge for your lab is to use Markdown format to submit your lab. This will get you to learn a new language, sort of. So you're learning not markup, but Markdown. Again, this is very useful for when you get a job and you have to do stuff like this on GitHub. Okay. Yeah, so what I did was I took a picture with my snippet tool, right? So here's my snippet tool. Oh, crap. New snippet tool. I saved it under, so I created under my week 1, I created a folder called images, right? And there are my images right there. And then I just pushed it with Git. So, oh shoot. So where are my images here? Here? Or was it somewhere else? Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, I'm in a different directory. Oh, shoot. Maybe it's better if I just show you through the Windows Explorer. There's a different directory. Okay, so I created a folder called images. I saved my snapshots in there. I went back to this folder and I just git init, git commit, git push. And it automatically pushed the image into GitHub, right? So if you go to my GitHub folder, you should see there. There's my images folder. And there's my ping files. Right, so it's using those same exact files. Okay, so let me just go through the lab with you real quick. Okay, so this is a little bit of a step up from what Rich wanted, which I think is good. So one thing I've noticed being a part-time faculty here at Georgian is some students do not read directions. This is the first time I've made an assignment or a lab where I'm actually saying, this is how many marks you'll get for this. So now you'll know why you'll lose marks if you don't do stuff, if you don't read. Okay, so please read the instructions. And so the first thing is create a new file called lab1.md, but I want you to replace the hashtags with your own initials in there. Okay. Next, I say open a browser tab to the web page that I just showed you, just as a reference. Okay, so you have that as a. Next thing I want you to do is type everything in this picture onto your thing. I know I'm forcing you to type. That's a good thing. Everything. Even that one at the bottom, because eventually that'll turn into 1 and that'll turn into 2 on GitHub. Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Just based on our example today, yeah, we should not have that there. You're right. It doesn't hurt it if it is, but it doesn't. You're right. You could delete that. Yeah, this food seems like it's contradicting with this food because this food is definitely different than this food. That's why I wanted to delete that as a point of. That's an excellent point. Okay, so using the above template, using Markdown, right? Not HTML tags, but Markdown. I want you to fill in the next question that goes here, right? So this gives me a chance as a teacher to find out where you're at. Okay, so I want you to type in something that you learned in this class and put it in the form of a quiz question like the first one you saw, right? The first one is a quiz question. Is the following code synchronous or asynchronous? Code sample, answer, blah, blah, blah. So you do the exact same thing for what you learned today, put it here. That's it. Cool? The reason why I want you to do this is because when it comes time to the quizzes and the midterms, I'm going to collect from your questions and put it on the quizzes and the midterms. Simple questions, yeah, that's the idea. Yeah. Okay. All right. This next thing I want you to do, yeah. So use similar code fencing using the triple backticks to get that. So you'll get familiar on how to do that. Blah blah blah. Okay. Number 8. In the teacher world, elementary school teacher world, they say something like, teachers, when they're training them, they say, it's good to give an assessment at the end of your lesson to the students so that you know where they're at. And one popular way is something called two stars and a wish. Have you ever had that in elementary school? No? Where the kid has to write down 2 stars, meaning 2 compliments, 2 things they learned. And the wish is what they still don't understand. So I'm giving you a chance here on number 8 to give you a chance to give me questions on what you didn't understand today. That will help form my future classes. Also, number 10, notice I'm asking you to take a screenshot of you doing this, essentially. So go to your root folder where I see your name on your computer, type in node V, it has some number, take a screenshot of that. Insert that. So that's one way I know you have a node installed. Okay, and then upload that to Blackboard, GitHub and Blackboard, and you're good to go. So upload it to GitHub first, and then upload to the link on Blackboard, and you're good to go. So that is the lab. Any questions on the lab before I get into some finer details? When's it due? Yo, great question. All the labs are due Friday midnight. So you have at least a day. If you don't want it to do it today, then you have at least a day. The reason, here's my teaching philosophy coming up. Okay, I read somewhere that for you as a student, one of the best ways to learn is to spread out your learning over the course of the week. So we only have this class every Thursday. I want you to retain in your mind what we have. It's not going to do you any good if I have everything due on Thursday. That's why I want the lab due on Friday. That's why I want the quizzes due on Monday. So after today's class, I will form my own quiz questions of 5 multiple choice. You will do it on Monday, midnight. You could do it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, anytime between then. But at least it keeps it fresh in your mind of what we learned. Okay, because this class, out of all your classes you're taking this summer, I think you need to spend time on this class. Because you can easily get lost. Okay. Any questions or comments before we take another break? Yeah. Private, yeah. So if you put it on GitHub, well, yeah, privatize it. Now I know as a student, you get that free education pack, right? Do you have a limit to the number of private repositories or no? Okay, yeah, so make it private, for sure. Yeah. You don't want someone to accidentally cheat or something. Is there anything else I wanted to say? Yeah, so my GitHub username is this, github.com/avcoder, and you'll see my library profile picture there. Let me just check my notes to see if there's anything else I have to say. Okay, so that is essentially the end of the second period of today's class. However, after the 10-15 minute break, come back because I want to show you how to install those tools that I have on my code editor that allows the editor to automatically fix the old to the new and automatically let you know, hey, you spelled response wrong. You spelled it response instead of response. So this will help you in this course because you're bound to make typos. This will help you catch those typos before you run it. Okay? Cool. So I'll give you another 15. Cool. This path program yeah. So change it to no big thing. So look at the textbook. Even if it works the way he asked it. But it's written one line off. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I see your recording?
Yes.
Is there a link to the YouTube?
Yeah, so right now on Blackboard, you're gonna see that link on the announcements.
Announcements.
Yeah. Yeah, so every class in the live stream. Here's another tip. If you want to get ahead of this class, which I recommend you do, look up Rich Freeman's YouTube channel for this class. That's basically where I'm getting all my material from anyway, and just adding my own stuff. He is teaching this semester. He's teaching PHP, he's teaching, I don't know what else he's teaching. No, I guess not. I don't know why. Yeah. Although here's my theory. I'm just not recording. US from a leading edge of web development. So full-time prop. You don't want to take the time to learn something. That's my opinion. But I'm glad I'll gladly teach it because this is cool stuff. This is like the leading edge stuff. Right? Yeah, well, that's a whisper. But that's my opinion. But they're great. I love Rich. How's it going?
That's exactly what I did.
So I'm looking at whether to download the Visual Studio Code.
Yes.
So I want to explain. Oh.
So I change it. I just have to close it. Um, I think what I'm gonna do. I figured it would be better to take it off. Oh. Okay, 2 minutes to go. It's okay. Now, in my previous class that I taught for advanced client-side JavaScript, I actually created a series of videos on how to install something called eslint, as well as something called prettier. That's what you're seeing whenever I type in some code, and it automatically fixes it and automatically warns me, hey, you misspelled response or something. So I'm going to demonstrate it live, but I'm also going to refer you to the GitHub page that I just updated, which contains from 1 to 7 how to install eslint and prettier. Okay. Now, I sense a coughing fit coming on, so I may have to just lead you to the videos. Hold on. I think what I'll do is I'm going to uninstall. I'm going to try to uninstall my extensions. Uninstall it. Oh, man. I hope I'm better next week. Uninstall prettier. Reload that. And I want you to just Google eslint. And are using eslint. Before this, you may have heard of other tools like JS Hint, or there's another one before. eslint is the popular hot tool of the. Okay, this and prettier. So to install it, let's say get started. You have to obey this command line here. You have to say npm install eslint. Now, before you type that, I just want to make you realize you have 2 ways to install it, either locally or globally. Okay? Ask yourself this. Do I want to keep on installing eslint each and every time I have a new project? Yes or no? If no, then install it globally. Okay. So let's try the let's try the global installation first. Although the YouTube videos that I did put up are local, example of local. Go ahead and type this in: npm install -g eslint. Let it do its thing. Give you a minute for that. I already installed it in mine, so I don't have to do it. Now this is where I departed from the second line, depending on how you have your structure on your folder. So for me, I had I was working off my node here, and this line right here, the second thing you should do, this will create a new file called this eslint rc. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I say type eslint, all it is it's a JSON data structure telling eslint to use Airbnb's style guide. Airbnb, as you probably know, is a very popular company. They are right now are the style guide. So every JavaScript developer uses Airbnb's rules on how to write JavaScript properly, or at least make it. So if you type that in right now, this is where my memory gets fuzzy. I don't know if that's going to do anything for you or if it does. So if you type that eslint -- init, does that create a new file for you? Actually, you know what? Let me just do it here. Okay, yeah. So you should get something like this, right? And the one that I chose that everyone's using is this one. Use a popular style guide. Like the second option. Yeah, this is where my memory comes back. Okay, so it's giving me an error message saying I'm missing a package.json file. So we need a package.json file first. Maybe. Okay, let's create a package.json file, and then we'll delete that package.json file after we did our thing. So maybe for now, to create a package.json file, say this: npm init -y for yes. All the questions. Enter. When you say enter, you'll notice that there's a new file called package.json, which has a JSON file of different options. We'll get into this next time. But now, if you say eslint init, or eslint -- init, now it should work. So let's choose the second option, which is use a popular style guide. Which one do you want to use? I want to use Airbnb. Do you use React? No. Which format do you want? JSON. You could use JavaScript. You could use JSON. Either one. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. It's doing its thing. Great. From this point on, if you say type.eslint whatever, you should see your new rule. Extends Airbnb base. Yes? Okay. That means you now have the power in your Visual Studio Code to turn your old JavaScript into new JavaScript and to warn you of errors. Okay, to do that, go into Visual Studio Code and click on the extensions icon, search for eslint. First one that pops up by Dirk, install that. Then once it's installed, reload your browser, or your code editor rather. I believe you should be good to go. So I'm going to test this out. I'm going to go into my node folder here. Let me close this folder where I'm at. So file, open folder, and I'm going to go to the location where that eslint rc was, which I believe was users, Belarus, node. Okay, so I'm in my node folder. Let's see what happens if I create a new text file, call it, whatever you want, .js, test.js. I say var a equals hi. Let me see if, we forgot one thing. We forgot one thing. It's not working yet. And that's because we didn't read the instructions on the web page. Hold on. I thought there would be a VS Code. Okay, before I show you the VS Code stuff, you don't have to do this. I just want you to know this. So I'm in there. I could say eslint right now, and it gives me, okay, it's working. So I could say, okay, I want you to look at, here, maximize this. Let me go into lab 4. So here's my JavaScript file called index.js. I'm going to purposely make a boo-boo on it. Where is this located? No, lab 2. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to purposely, oh shoot, I don't know if it's going to. Okay, good. So I said var connect. Now, again, we're not using Visual Studio Code. We're just using the command prompt. Because we installed eslint, you could actually use eslint in the command prompt. You don't need a Visual Studio Code. You can say eslint and type in the name of your JavaScript file. And what that will do is it will read your code and give you errors. Oh, cannot find module eslint configure. Okay, this is where my memory fades for me because I installed this a long time ago, and you probably know how it is installing it the second time around. It's not so smooth. So I think this is where I'm going to have to refer you to the videos because I'm drowning right now. But once I figure it out, I'll let you know next class. Let's see if I can figure this out before the end of class, though. So what's my error? My error is saying cannot find module. Oh shoot, we need that. So how do we get that? How come it's not there? We need to npm install that, don't we? What else do we have here? It should have installed it globally. This is why I think in my YouTube videos I did a local installation rather than a global installation, because I think when I created those YouTube videos I was messing. I couldn't figure out the global one. But then I figured it out, and now I can't remember how to do it. There, okay. This is what I want. I want to go to this directory because this is where everything resides. So whenever you say npm install whatever, it installs that whatever in here. So I want to see there because I'm pretty sure I installed it. So c:, users, avilarus, app data, roaming, npm, node modules. There, it's right there. ESLint config. Oh shoot, I know what's happening. I think I know what's happening. Yes. Okay. I think I figured it out. Let's try this. First, we have to figure out where Node installs all your stuff. I believe it should be the same for you as it is for me, but just to make sure, if you type this on your command prompt, npm list-g, the very first line it outputs will tell you where all those Node modules reside. It should be similar to mine, which is c:users / your name / appdata / roaming / npm. And because I'm still recording this on YouTube, you can always go back even if I'm going too fast. Okay, here we go. So let's make sure we're there. CD. Shoot, what did I not already? Let's go to users, avilarus. Okay. Data, CD roaming, CD. Am I here? I am here. Great. So we're just going to do the same exact steps we did before. We're going to do an npm init y to get a package JSON file. Then we're going to use the eslint init, eslint rc file. Then we're going to transfer that eslint rc file into our working node folder, and that should be the don't do this right now. Maybe this is all for naught, and I could be just messing with you. So let's see if this works. Okay, so I got my package.json. Print, yes, Airbnb. No. Even if you reinstall it, no harm done. Okay, so now in my Windows folder, in my Windows Explorer, I see my new eslint RC file that was just created today at this time. I want to copy that, go into my working node folder, which I've used today all throughout, and paste it here. Paste, replace. Okay, I already had one there. How come it didn't work? Okay, let's try it anyway. Let's see what happens. Yes. I'm in lab 2. All right, so if I said eslint index, does it work? Yes, it works. So it was all for good. I figured it out. Okay, so what it's telling you right now, this is the command prompt's visual way to let you know, hey, you suck at coding. No, just to let you know that, hey, you may want to check out this one error because it's saying unexpected var. We don't use var anymore, old timer. We use let or const now. So that's the kind of warning message you'll get. Don't let those messages hurt your feelings. It's there to help you. Okay. Now, because it's now working, it should work in Visual Studio Code. So if we go back to Visual Studio Code, it is. Look, that one line that I changed var, it's now underlining it here. See the red squiggly underline throughout the whole line? How can I get more detail about that? Look at the bottom left corner. Bottom left corner, I see this X with a number of errors. You click on that. You get a panel that says the exact same message that you just saw before. So now you can go back and say, oh, okay, then I can fix that kind of thing. Before you fix that, however, it may do you good to go back to eslint's page and actually see the rule. So it's saying no vars. Okay, search for no vars. Here. So this is the rule called no var, and this page lets you know the philosophical reasoning behind that. It's up to you as a developer to say, yes, I agree with that philosophy. Let me keep that rule. Or to say, I think it's too strict. I would rather it be more lenient and not say error, or not to give me an error at all. And there are ways to do that. Furthermore, if you click on within Visual Studio Code, if you say Control-Shift-P, you should see something like this: preferences, open user settings. And you should copy this. So in this right-hand side, enter this, eslint.autofix on save true. What that will do is every time you save, it will fix. So it'll turn the var into const automatically for you. Also, this line right here, editor.format on save, same thing, do that, enter that as well. Okay. In addition to that, one final thing before I let you go. So I said there was two things. There was something called eslint, which transforms the old JavaScript to the new JavaScript and uses the style guide. There's something else I want you to install. So if you go back to extensions, and again, the whole reason why I want you to do this is so that you don't have to focus on figuring out why you spelled response wrong, or it'll help. The second extension I want you to install is this one, Prettier, by Esben Peterson. Install that. And in your user preferences, make sure that this is typed in. So prettier.single quote true, prettier.eslint integration is true. What Prettier does is takes your mind off of indenting. I'm sure all of you as developers throughout Georgian, your teachers have told you, before you type that code, you'd better indent it right. Either 3 spaces or a tab or whatever, right? Right, that's what I grew up with. Prettier takes your mind off of that, so you can just focus on your code. So in your code, you could just say blah 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 blah. You don't have to worry about indents. Save. Magically, Prettier makes it nice, indents it nice, beautiful. This is what the industry is using. Prettier is a pretty recent extension. It's a pretty recent tool, and this is what all the professional JavaScript developers are using nowadays. Okay, so I know I went a bit too fast, and hopefully the videos I provided on the GitHub notes will help you for a local installation, or if you just want to review what I just did today, that's cool too. I think I'm still recording. Am I still recording? Yes, I'm still recording. So that is the end of today's class. Any further comments or questions? Let me know. Let me just stop the broadcast now.